Hey you guys, it's Peter, and welcome to my channel, Peterisms, where I tell stories of my life and just little things that I've learned as I've grown into the person that I am today. And I was sitting here trying to figure out what books to read from today, and I'd actually started this book called Going Somewhere Soon, Collected Stories and Drawings by Brian Andreas. And I think my mom or my cousin Caroline gave this book to me years ago. And, well, obviously, because my mom's been gone for 12 years plus, 13 years almost. And is it 13 years? How many years has she been gone? No, it'd be 13 years in this upcoming year that she's been gone. But anyway, so I actually think my cousin Caroline gave this to me. And if you go through here, you can see it's just little collected poems and short stories. I'm going to read a couple of them. I've said like 5 times. Anyway, I'm going to read a couple of them to you in just a second. But my mom and I used to collect these, and I have several of these, and many of them are unframed. You can see how beautiful the paintings and the watercolors are. And then he has poems written around them. So the book is basically just the short stories and the poems written around them. So like this one says, "As long as the sun shall rise, goes the old lover's vow, but we are children of a scientific age and have no time for poetry. Still, I offer a quiet prayer of thanks for the sunlight each time I see your face." I love these so much. And then this one says, "We had gone far enough together to listen easily in the quiet spaces." So they're all just kind of like little sayings like that. And I was like, I'm going to start this book and try to get through it tonight. But some of them are like, let's see this one. It's got a picture of a dog, or I think a dog on it. Yeah, and it says, "I remember once I went to my great-grandmother's house. It was a big white house, and it always smelled like slightly burned toast and raspberry jam. She had a picture of Jesus on the wall in her living room. She told me his eyes would follow you around when you walked. I told a friend about it a while ago. He nodded and said he used to have a chihuahua that did the same thing." It said, it's another person that has a hat on. "I said I could not see her eyes under her hat, and she smiled mysteriously and said she liked it that way." I love these. These are so fantastic. Of course I believe in heaven, my grandma used to say. There's got to be some reward for living with your grandfather all these years. Let's see this one. This one is kind of long. Hold on. "He told me that the night his mother died, there were storms, and far away he saw purple lightning, and someone left the window open and the room filled with a swirl of butterflies, and she slipped out quietly without anyone noticing. And I'm sure the grief was softer because of that." I love that. Okay. "Once upon a time there was a pig who spoke 8 languages and did sculpture with pieces of wood and rusted metal he found on his travels. One day he was out in the woods working on a new installation piece, and he met a family from a small town in Tennessee. They had been walking for days. The dad saw the pig and said, 'What are you doing, little piggy?' They were all quite surprised when the pig said, 'Working with counterbalanced forces using found objects.' They all stood around and looked at the piece for a long time. No one said anything. Finally, the dad shrugged and turned to the mom and said, 'I don't know much about art, but I know what I like.' And then they killed the pig and ate." Oh my Lord! So horrible, isn't it? Anyway, some of these are rather interesting. So every summer we had a circus, and I always got to be the fortune teller. All the girls wanted to know if they'd have babies, and all the boys wanted to find out about the cubs. We had one neighbor who'd been in the hospital who asked me if I could tell her when she was going to die. And I didn't know what to say, so I told her not before her time, and then she grabbed my arm and said I was a good boy. But that's not what the doctor said, and there I was looking in the crystal ball wishing I had more gypsy and less Norwegian. Oh, that's kind of sweet. What was the other one that I just read? What was that called? Because they have titles underneath them. Oh, it doesn't have a title. Anyway, let's read the very last one. I like to read the last one sometimes in these things. Okay. "She always camouflaged herself as a crowd. I've never been lonely," she said, "but sometimes it's hard to think above the noise." Oh, wow. "I don't mind being a temp," she told me. "It reminds me of my priorities." So anyway, a little book. I pretty much read the whole thing right there. Anyway, that one was kind of tragic though, wasn't it? So I thought that today, being that this might be my last Peterisms video of 2020, I don't know, I might make one tomorrow, but we'll see. If it is my last one, I wanted to go out much the same way as 2020 has been over here. So I wanted to read from the Melody Beatty book, since I have read from these so much this year, and then maybe retire them for a while. I don't know. I might come back and visit them throughout 2021. We'll see. But I do want to thank you guys so much for being along with me on this journey over on this channel this year. I announced earlier this year that I had an exciting project that I was going to do over here, and it has been pushed back a little bit, so I still am doing that. And I just want to say thank you guys so much for all the messages and the emails and the direct messages and comments that you guys have sent me about how much this channel has meant to you. And, you know, every day I just come on here and I just read meditations. It's very simple. And I just kind of talk out loud like I would to my best friend in the car, because she and I read this book a lot, you know, or we did in the past more. But it's just like talking to you guys if we were just like sitting here having a conversation about these meditation books. And I want to say thank you, not just for watching my channel or, like I say often, allowing me to be part of your life, but for allowing me the opportunity to read these meditations on a daily basis. I don't know that I would have with many of the books. I don't know that I would have even maybe past the reading thought much about it if I wasn't talking out loud about it. So I want to say thank you. All right. I also brought the Stephen Levine book, A Year to Live. I don't know. You have to read the whole book before you can do kind of like the program for the year. So I think I'm going to put that on the back burner for right now. And I may do the Melody Beatty gratitude book at some point. All right. Let's get in here and read from the language of letting go, first of all. And of course, I did not bring my reading glasses. That is a goal for 2021, to always bring my reading glasses. Okay. Laying the foundation, December 30th. The groundwork has been laid. Do you not see that? Don't you understand that all you have gone through was for a purpose? There was a reason, a good reason, for the waiting, the struggle, the pain, and finally the release. You have been prepared. The same way a builder must first tear down and dig out the old to make way for the new. Your higher power has been cleaning out the foundation in your life. Have you ever watched a builder at construction? When he begins his work, it looks worse than before he began. What is old and decayed must be removed. What is insufficient or too weak to support the new structure must be removed, replaced, or reinforced. No builder who cares about his or her work, would put a new surface over an insufficient support system. The foundation would give way. It would not last. If the finished product is to be what is desired, the work must be done thoroughly from the bottom up. As the work progresses, it often appears to be an upheaval. Often, it does not seem to make sense. It may appear to be wasted time and effort because we cannot see the final product yet. But it is so important that the foundation be laid properly if the fun work, the finishing touches, is to be all that we want it to be. This long, hard time in your life has been for laying of groundwork. This long, hard time in your life has been for laying of groundwork. It was not without purpose, although at times the purpose may not have been evident or apparent. Now the foundation has been laid. The structure is solid. Now it is time for the finishing touches to completion. It is time to move the furniture in and enjoy the fruits of the labor. Congratulations. You have had the patience to endure the hard parts. You have trusted, surrendered, and allowed your higher power in the universe to heal and prepare you. Now, you shall enjoy the good that has been planned. Now, you shall see the purpose. Now, it shall all come together and make sense. Enjoy. Today I will surrender to the laying of the foundation, the groundwork in my life. If it is time to enjoy the placement of the finishing touches, I will surrender to that and enjoy that too. I will remember to be grateful for a higher power that is a master builder and only has my best interests in mind, creating and constructing my life. I will be grateful for my higher power's care and attention to details in laying the foundation. Even though I become impatient at times, I will stand in awe at the beauty of God's finished product. Love this meditation. And it's so interesting in talking about this new project that I'm going to do over here, because I think very much I get focused on the dressing up of the end product instead of the building of the foundation. And what's interesting to me about that is that for years and years and years, I've used the analogy of the foundation of building a house for recovery. You know that, and it can be whatever you're working on in your life. But when you're building a house, right, you really are laying a firm cement ground or wood ground, you know, and really sturdy walls that won't blow down, whether that's brick or cement or wood, that won't fall down in a storm. You want a solid structure, right, that can weather the years and can weather the storms. Once you have all of that built, you know, then you go in, and before you even paint the walls or put on wallpaper, you're going to go in there and you're going to seal the walls, right? And, you know, do all of that and figure out lighting so that you can see inside the structure. You know, you want to be able to see your way. So we do all of these mainstay things that even the foundation of the building of the foundation comes in waves. It doesn't come all at once, right? Basically, you know, it's like finding what we want that to look like, having an image in our head is really the beginning stage of laying any foundation of what we want the end result to look like. But I'm thinking about, like, you know, the house that I grew up in and my dad's house also, both houses I can remember going out there when they were being built, because they were built over a long period of time. And I would go out there with my dad, you know. Like, I don't remember so much going out there with my mom. I've seen the pictures, but I do remember going out there with my dad to his second house. Actually, I would bike ride out there, and he would run, and I would bike ride next to him while he was running out there. And then, so anyway, we would, you know, come back. And I can remember being out there, and you could just see the ground that had been, like, you know, dug out, and there, like, after it had rained, there'd be rainwater in there, and, you know, whatever, and you could kind of imagine the house, and you could see where the front door was going to be and all that kind of stuff. And you would even kind of fantasize maybe about where the windows would be, or, like, you know, I can remember my dad he has a pool, so I can remember wondering what the pool was going to look like, or, you know, maybe you're fantasizing about you know, the carpet, or where you know, the curtains are going to be. But you're not focused on the curtain at first. You're focused on the laying of the foundation, right? Like, if you're a builder, you really want the foundation to be sturdy. You wouldn't focus on the curtains before the foundation. And I think that's very much how it has been in life, you know, that you've got to focus on the laying of the foundation. And for me, it's always been about having a sturdy, strong foundation. It's one of the reasons why I say that my sobriety is a priority to everything else in my life, because if I'm not sober, I don't have my life, my husband, my home, my dogs, being able to make videos on YouTube, interacting with you guys, my friends, my family. I don't have any of that if I'm not sober, because I'm not here to enjoy it or appreciate it. So my foundation has to be my sobriety. The ground floor has got to be my sobriety in my life, you know, and whatever we're going through, I think that we have to think about what is our foundation, you know, what is the bottom line for all of that. So I think it's a fantastic meditation, and something that I definitely needed to hear today. All right, let's go on to The Journey to the Heart by Melody Beatty. Daily meditations on the path to freeing your soul. Oh, we're way early in December. We're past that now. December is almost over. Let's see. December 30th, joy is your next lesson. Learning compassion, understanding love, and experiencing joy, that's our purpose, our reason for being here. That's our true mission on this planet. Learning compassion may have been difficult, because in order to feel compassion for others without judging, we had to go through difficult times ourselves. Times when, despite our best efforts, we couldn't help ourselves. Times when, despite our searching, we couldn't find the answers. As many say, it is usually our own pain and problems that make us compassionate. Understanding love may have taken many years, many heartbreaks, and much searching and grasping until we discovered that the key to love was our own heart. Until we discovered that love wasn't exactly what we thought or hoped it would be. Now, it's different and better. Don't give up. Don't stop now. Don't let the residue, the pain from the early parts of your journey, stop you from going forward. We first had to learn about compassion and love in order to learn joy. The hard work is done. Now you have reached your reward. Now it is time to learn joy. I really like that a lot. And you know, I've talked about this a lot on here, I think, in the last year. But I saw this really powerful interview with Oprah, and I feel like I'm sitting way over, okay. I saw this really powerful interview where Oprah interviewed RuPaul. And in the interview, Oprah asked RuPaul, like, what do you think the meaning of life is? Or she says something like, do you think that's the meaning of life? And he said, yeah, I think so. And basically the meaning of life to RuPaul is that you live a good life, the best life that you possibly can as an example to others. And you really enjoy life to the most that you possibly can, and then show that as an example to other people that life is a gift, you know, and live to the best of your ability that you possibly can. And I love that RuPaul said that. You know, I think that often we think that life is supposed to have this like really deep, powerful meaning to it, which at times it does, right? I mean, I'm a believer that life is about the learning experiences and the lessons in there. But what would life be if what would life be if you were just constantly sitting in a classroom with no time for recess? Like, life is really about the fun times too. Life is really about the enjoyment that you have with your family, your friends, your loved ones. You know, it's like about those priceless moments. And if life weren't about that, if we never had those moments, then I think it would be, you know, awfully sad. And I know that there's a lot of people out there that struggle with that. And they're like, I don't really have a lot of happy moments. And I think for me, it's about finding the delight in the small things. Doing the 28 days of gratitude powerfully affected me because it really made me find joy and compassion and love for the smallest things in my life. Made me appreciate my life even more so than I did before, you know? And I think it's about finding those things, finding the joy in the world, you know, even in just the smallest things, like the way the pillow feels against your cheek when you sleep at night, or like I've said many, many times, like the dogs running in the backyard, or just the taste of a good cup of coffee, you know, or it's snowing out tonight, like looking at the snow outside, you know, or a nice spring day on, you know, or the summer grass, you know, on the bottoms of your feet, on and on and on, all these small things, most of which are priceless and don't cost anything, right? But are priceless beyond belief as well. It's about learning to appreciate those things and realizing, wow, I do have a life beyond my wildest dreams. And all of those things make my life amazing, you know? I think like one of the things that I was taught when I first got sober was I would go to meetings. I was actually talking to somebody today about this, that I would go to meetings and I would pick out all the differences. Well, I'm not like that person because of this, or they don't relate to my story because of that, or they could never possibly relate to me because of this, whatever. And my sponsor said to me, find the similarities, not the differences. And he actually made me carry a pad of paper in with a pen, and like anything that they would write down that I related to, if somebody was talking, I had to write it down. So if somebody said I'm an alcoholic, I had to write down, I'm an alcoholic, because I related to that. And so what I started to see was the similarities. In this world, what I have learned, okay, is that if I choose to look for the negative, I'm going to find the negative. If I choose to look for the misery, if I choose to find the problems, as somebody that used to be negative on a daily basis, as somebody that was pessimistic and constantly worried about everything, if I choose to see the negative, I'm going to see the negative. If I choose to see the positive, chances are I'm going to see the positive. I know many, many people that have lives much worse than I do, and they never once complain. So when you're out there and you're saying, yes, but if you had my life, maybe you would look at things differently. I don't know the condition of your life. I know a lot of people have really horrific things that happen to them, but I know a lot of people that have horrific things that happen to them, and they choose to see the positive in that. You know, they choose to be hopeful about that. And I do think it's a choice, you know. I really, really do. I believe that in my heart. As somebody that used to choose to see the negative, and I don't anymore. I want to see the positive. I want to go forward in my life with the days that I have left and really enjoy the positive out of it, and not always break everything down to its worst possible, you know, example of what it could possibly be, you know. Like you could take any situation and take it, and it could be like a paid trip to go somewhere, and I would tell you all the reasons why that was a bad idea, you know. And I still fight that inside. Like, I have that inside of me. I really truly believe that's part of my addiction. I fight that every day, that pessimistic kind of outlook on life, you know, of like, why we shouldn't do this, you know. And really, if I'm honest, it's all from a point of fear for me. I mean, in recovery, we talk about 100 forms of fear. It's all from a point of fear to me, that I'm afraid of trying new things. I'm afraid of what that might be like. I'm afraid that I might enjoy it and have to admit to that, you know? I'm afraid that I might have to admit that, yeah, there is a lot of joy in life. There is a lot of goodness in life, you know? And so I think it's been important for me. You know, I'm a believer that people are put in our lives for a reason. You know, I love my husband very much, and I think that he's listening upstairs right now, so he can take this and run with it. But, you know, I believe that one of the reasons my husband was put in my life was to teach me about the joy of life. You know, he is somebody that ultimately enjoys most of his moments. I mean, he feels his feelings. He allows himself to get sad when he needs to. But he is somebody that gets excited, you know, whether it's about going out to dinner with a good friend of his, or going to a music festival, or traveling, or some days just going to work because he's doing something new that he's never done before, you know. I hadn't witnessed a lot of that before I got with him, because the people in my life were rather negative. And one of the things I also learned from that is that we get to choose who we get to be around in this life. I don't have to be around people that are going to bring me down. I don't have to be around people that I'm going to be chameleon-like with their behavior, because they're negative, I'm going to be negative too. And I used to do that to people as well. I used to affect people negatively because I was so negative, and it would bring them down, and I don't want to be that. Today I want to be positive. Today I want to choose joy in my life, and I definitely believe that we can. So anyway, great meditations for going into 2021. Like I said, I don't know that I'm going to be back here tomorrow. I may just, you know, decide that I'm not going to film something. I may decide that I am going to film something, but either way, I just want you guys to know how much I have loved being with you during the past year, and I will love being with you in 2021 because I'm excited about that as well. So I love you guys so much, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.